in Tennessee.
All right, guys, good morning. On behalf of Operation Rock, I am Clayton here, trying to stick to the schedule and stick to the script with another hopefully entertaining live cast regarding verbal abuse and what verbal abuse really is. Um, Verbal abuse has been so misconstrued over the years and manipulated by people who just wanted to use it to affect other people's lives that I think people have lost the true I think the true definition of what verbal abuse is has been just like totally manipulated and misconstrued. So what I would like to do, because I thought it was pretty useful to I thought this would be pretty useful if maybe somebody could try to explain to people on a larger scale exactly what verbal abuse encompasses. Because you see many times that you're accused of verbal abuse or someone someone accuses you of verbal abuse, you may not actually be verbally abusing them. Exercising your First Amendment right to your opinion and free speech is not verbal abuse. It's you exercising your First Amendment right. But what you'll have is lesser, weaker people or more manipulative people, excuse me, who will lose arguments. Let's say they may attack you with insults and you happen to attack them back and you win. The next thing they'll want to do to you is they'll want to try to say, oh, he's abusive to me or he was verbally abusive to me or whatever that might be. And that tactic is most commonly used about. I'm sorry, people. You all know my thing. I got to do this every morning. I really got to figure this out one day. I'm like so lazy with this. But anyway, so people will use verbal abuse as a tool. They'll use verbal abuse as a tool to oppress you, attack your confidence, attack your credibility. But more so, what they do with verbal abuse is when they abuse you is they may be trying to entice you into argument. So now when you go back and forth with the exchange, because let's say they're calling you a piece of shit, you call them a piece of shit, they call you a piece of shit. Now you're giving them what they need. So first we're going to talk about verbal abuse and what it actually is, and then we're going to get into some examples of it, and we're just going to try to we're going to try to dive into it as deeply as possible. So at the end of this, we'll say 45 minutes, we have a pretty good and solid foundation of what verbal abuse is and how it's actually used and how it's actually manipulated. So we can start off with a simple definition of verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is a form of emotional abuse that involves the use of words to cause harm, control, or manipulate another person. It can occur in any kind of relationship, romantic, familial, workplace, or social, and often functions to diminish a person's self worth, confidence, and sense of safety. Verbal abuse may be overt or subtle, and often escalates over time. Characteristics of verbal abuse are insults and name calling, blaming, shaming, criticism meant to humiliate, threats of intimidation, gaslighting, making someone question their reality or sanity, yelling or screaming, sarcasm meant to belittle or controlling conversations or intimidating feelings. Now, all of that is what is encompassed as a characteristic of verbal abuse. But it's funny that these would be the characteristics of verbal abuse because they're also practices when someone chooses to exercise their First Amendment right. And I think that's where the confusion in society comes in nowadays is that people have been allowed to attack the protection of the First Amendment by claiming verbal abuse. Because we live in a lot more feminine society, people. There's no longer society is no longer, I want to say, fostered by the strength of men. No. It's fostered by the emotional capacity of women and feminized people to express their feelings. And everyone cares about everyone's feelings. Oh my God, his feelings are so hurt. We have to protect them. I didn't think that the world would ever get to a place where people have become such pussies, but it has. So now we get into a society where me, back up a little bit, I'm from New York. Being a New Yorker, everyone knows New Yorkers have mouths on them. We got a language to us. It's nothing for a New Yorker to tell you to go fuck yourself. It's just as easy as someone from saying South Carolina saying good day. New Yorkers say go fuck yourself. It's just something natural. It doesn't mean we really hate you. It means you're annoying us and we want you to get away from us. That's the educated definition of go fuck yourself. You're annoying me. Please get away from me. But a New Yorker is going to say it like that. Many times you'll be drawn into a situation where someone they'll upset you and you'll be like, yo, get the hell out of here, go fuck yourself, whatever it might be. Now, in the society we now live in, that one statement can be used to drag you into court for allegedly verbally abusing someone, simply telling them to leave you alone. Now, someone may be harassing you. They may be calling you out of your name. They may be calling, disrespecting you. They could be doing horrible things to you. Now, as long as you don't respond to them, people, you have 100% non-liability, which means you can't be accounted. But for the second you respond to them, you become liable. Now, liability is judged in so many different ways, people. But the ultimate way liability is judged is by what you can prove. Now, if someone contacts you with an argument, and let's say they call you and they call you a stupid motherfucker, they're insulting you, you're insulting them, they're insulting you. It kind of goes back and forth. Fast forward to a couple of weeks later, suddenly in the mail, you get an order of protection. What the hell is this? You're being accused of a domestic offense. Now, this doesn't happen with everyone. I'm talking about as it applies to the family court because verbal abuse is a majorly deceptive tool used by people in the family court process, and primarily women. Women like to start arguments. Most women have mouths on them. They're incredibly disrespectful when they want to be disrespectful to a man or even to another woman, their partner, because relationships can be women now. They will use the responses of the partner they may be harassing to claim verbal abuse. And because the family court is so corrupt, the family court is going to accept anything that it can try to hold for a domestic violence offense as a reason to bring a person to court. Because as I've said in the past, the family court is only about money. The family court does not care about the litigant. The family court does not care about children. That is a lie. The family court's primary focus is to keep fathers away from children and to build the system and people for money. That is it. The family court has no justified purpose. They intentionally destroy the relationships between fathers and childs and mothers and children. The family court does not care about the family unit. The family court cares about the employees that feed the family court system. That is a fact that I would put my life on. So these people in domestic violence complaints will use the domestic disputes that happen between themselves and people to claim verbal abuse. And I know this personally because it happened to me, obviously. This is what made me an advocate of domestic violence. I was horribly lied on and defamed by women I dated that I happened to meet at the wrong time in my life. My mother passed, people. I was in a horrible place, people. I was emotionally destroyed. My mother was one of my best friends. So losing her put me in a place, people, where I was lonely and I was hurt. And I happened to make horrible choices in women that I have paid for the last 5 years. One of them I had a baby with, and this woman, I would have never touched this woman if I had not been drinking that night. That's the truth, people. I made a mistake and used my drunk penis to impregnate the worst possible candidate I could have ever chosen. And I suffered for it by. My mom used to have an expression for me, people. She used to say, Clayton, if you put your hand in the garbage, you can't be mad if you come out with shit on it. And people, I think that applies with men and women also. Men, we don't think about the women we sleep with for whatever reason. We might be under the influence. She might be incredibly beautiful. She might have a fat ass. We might be controlled by lust. It might be some factor that's not based on the true experience of that woman that you choose to sleep with her. But sex is not only about joy, it's also about consequences. And the natural consequence of sleeping with a woman and not putting any thought into it is creating a child that you will have to deal with. Now, some men are not men. They choose not to deal with these children because they hate the women. And hating the woman for them is enough not to deal with the child. They may have feelings for the child, but they hate the woman so much they ignore the child. I wasn't that type of child. So I had a baby with a woman who was a horrible choice and someone who I would never, ever have picked. And in doing so, I exposed myself to something that is why I had to fight for many years in family court. I can't even blame this woman for being a horrible person because the truth is, I allowed this to happen. I can only blame myself for not being wiser to pick someone who would not have done the things that this person, because it's all about character, people. People with good character aren't going to do things to hurt you. They're not going to try to block you from things that are not naturally yours. They're not going to try to diminish you. They know within themselves that they have to treat you away because they expect the same treatment. But we don't get that nowadays often, people. What we get is people who pretend to be good people, who pretend not to do nefarious, dishonest, deceitful things, who hide behind the mask of decency, religion, position, and they want us to see their created mask, their external appearance they put on is what they actually are. But people, the truth about character is character runs internally. You cannot tell someone's character by their position. You can't tell their character by the way they act. You have to tell someone's character by the way they live and by experiencing them over a period of time. The ultimate revealer of a person is time, people. It's nothing else. The only way you are truly going to get to know someone for who they are is by time experiencing them. And not just experiencing them in public. You have to experience them in different scenarios so you see how they truly respond in situations that require a response that might be significant to you. Um, and we can't do that, people. We can't do that by simply meeting someone and not taking the time and investing the energy, I think, into really getting to know them. So a lot of times we'll put ourselves in situations with people less than us, and this will put us in situations where we have to deal with people who may manipulate the law and social trends to harass us. And that gets me back on the topic of verbal abuse, because verbal abuse has become that tool that people will use. Your ability to speak to people has been now been restricted. You can no longer say what you want without someone trying to attack you. Now, I'm a person who says what I want, but I base what I say on the truth. If I attack someone and say they're a piece of shit, people, you better believe this person is a piece of shit. They've done things. They've done things that require them to be judged or critiqued for their actions. If I say somebody's a wife cheater, people, it's because I know for a fact that they have done things that have violated the sacrilege of marriage. If I call someone a thief, people, it's because I've heard and I know that these things have happened because this person has been challenged on that subject and not refuted it when they were challenged on it. See, people, I have learned the truth of an accusation is that it has to be truth. It cannot be just because you're angry with someone. You can't accuse people of things just because you want to destroy them or you want to harm them. Because all of that kind of encompasses verbal abuse when you're lying on someone and telling people things about them that are not true. Now, I am from a place on Staten Island, and I'm making this broadcast again, people, because I have launched a war against Staten Island's district attorney. It's a police lieutenant who happens to be a pastor by the name of Victor Allen Brown, and several advocacy agencies which are unethical and violated my civil rights. Now, some people might say I'm after revenge, but I'm not after revenge because this is much deeper than revenge. This is about justice. This is about fortifying and solidifying the rights of minorities who are subjected to this by people who are in positions of power who abuse their positions to falsely arrest and maliciously prosecute people and destroy lives, because that's the biggest thing. False arrest and malicious prosecution destroy people's lives. It can be for forever or it can be for a period of time. But the point is that false arrest, that malicious prosecution disrupts your life for the period of time that you have to deal with. And it's not fair if it's a lie. Now, law enforcement will use the excuse that they don't arrest false reporters because what it's going to do is stop reporters from reporting. And people, I'm here to tell you that that is complete bullshit. You're not going to stop people who are crimes are being committed against by arresting the people who are using the process to have other people falsely arrested. That is a lie. The true reason the police don't want to arrest people who file false reports and false accusations of verbal abuse or physical assault is because it bolsters their own statistics. And they know that a great portion of the complaints they have, especially in domestic violence, if there's not direct physical violence involved, most domestic violence complaint, I'll think about 50 or 60 of them, if there's no direct violence, are lies, or at least partial truths based on majority lies. Because it doesn't take anything to file a domestic violence complaint but an allegation, and especially if you're a woman. If you're a woman, you only have to walk into a court or precinct and say a man hit you. There can be no mark. You can have no mark, no bruises. You can't. You don't even have to have proof that you were in contact with that man in the last 72 hours when you're claiming it. The police are going to take in a report, and that man is going to get an order of protection or an assault charge. That's how it works. A man goes into a precinct on a woman, that doesn't usually happen again unless there's an injury. Men need injuries. If you go into the police center and you say your girlfriend hit you, you got to show them a stab wound, a black eye, a bruise, a swollen mark, something. They're going to totally dismiss you. But if a woman walks in there, you're going to get arrested as a man. That's a guaranteed fact. Um, I'm kind of deviating here, people, excuse me, because I'm supposed to stay on verbal abuse, but it kind of all focuses on each other. Because once someone makes false allegations on you saying that you verbally abuse them and they get an order of protection against you, people, you have no clue the hell and the nightmare you're going to go through. I'm trying actually this episode not to use my own life as any examples. Because again, people, I'm kind of just so tired of my situation. I realized during the last 5 years of my life, I only can blame myself because I made horrible choices in dating women. I truly dated some of the lowest level, lowest character women that I could have possibly met in the last 5 years. And because of that, I had a baby with one that is a complete fucking just joke, and another one who stalked me for 3 years and is a complete mama's girl, pathological liar, and complete false reporter and domestic violence offender. That's my fault, people. Because had my eyes been more awake, these women would have never got past my defensive walls because both of them were completely not my type when I met them. But people, when you're lonely, you don't think. When you're hurt, you just want to be filled, people. You just want someone to sit there with you and try to help you through the hurt. But it's incredibly important that you make sure that person is the right person. It can't just be anyone because the person who you choose to rely on when you are in grief, you can make an unfortunate mistake and be tied to that person for the next 5, 10, 15, or 20 years of your life simply by not thinking through the actions of that day and take it from someone who knows. I had a baby by one woman who is now autistic, and this woman is a complete piece of shit. So, and I still have to deal with this woman for the child. And I had a psycho ex-girlfriend who has been stalking me for almost the last 4 years because I broke up with her for the child that the same damn woman is trying to keep from me because she's mad I don't want to be with her. How crazy is that, people? I have one woman mad I have a child by a woman I want nothing to do with, and the woman that I have the child at mad that I want nothing to do with her. So both of them are trying to stop me from seeing my child. Fucking crazy, people. But that is how malicious people can come in false prosecution. And you have to be strong enough or become strong enough, like myself, to deal with this and intelligently deal with the problem. You can't get angry. You can't want to fight them. You can't want to disrespect them because this is what people who are against you are waiting for. They're waiting for your anger. They're waiting for your disrespect. They're waiting for you to have a natural response and be human because you're being violated. And when you have that natural response and are human and respond because people are hurting you, you're a monster. You're an animal. You're wrong. No, people, no, you're not. You're a victim. And I'm going to show you how, as a victim, to intelligently enforce your rights in your position so the bullshit in your life stops much faster than it did me. You are not verbally abusing someone by speaking your mind or responding to their negative influences or insults, excuse me. If someone insults you, if someone's harassing you, if someone is trying to harm you and you use profanity or you tell them to get out of here or you're aggressively telling them that you want to be left alone, you don't want anything to do with them. Examples might be I want nothing to effing do with you, leave me alone. I effing hate you. I don't want to do this again. Leave me alone. I don't want to date you. Things like that are not verbal abuse. If someone's calling you and they're insulting you and you say, you know what, and let's say they're throwing completely baseless accusations at you that you know are untrue, that they're just using to cause an argument, and you say, you know something, you're stupid, leave me alone. People, that's not verbal abuse because you're stopping someone who's lying on you. But this is what will happen. You'll get into an argument, and I don't want to say women because I don't want all women to think I'm against you. I love women. I'm definitely not against you. But it happens with women a lot. Let's say we got black women. I love my black sisters, but we got to be honest. Y'all got some horrible mouths on y'all when y'all want to. You might have a man and you like, you know what, nigga, you piece of shit, you bitch ass nigga, da 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 da. Because this is how black men talk to their women. Now, let's say that man happens to turn around and say, you know something, bitch, fuck you. Get the fuck out my face, you stinky, da 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 da. And he goes off on her because she's been going off on him for an hour. That woman will take her phone and delete. Even if this is the worst thing, I have so learned, people, that you do not respond to people with verbal arguments through text message by cursing back at them, because iPhone has a feature where people can delete text messages. So what my ex-girlfriend did was, my ex-girlfriend used to start fights with me where she would curse me out. But when it was time to start her domestic violence attack on me, she went to her iPhone and deleted all of her responses to me and took my responses to her to the police. So now In fairness to the police, when the police look at the history, it looks like I'm just contacting her, cursing her out. They're not seeing the other side of the situation where I'm telling her, hey, leave me alone. I don't want to be with you. This is over. Fuck no, you can't come with me. No, I don't want to go to dinner. No, you can't keep my stuff. The police are not seeing this because this woman is taking them out of the text history and showing them the people to manipulate them. Now, if we lived in a just system, what would happen is both sides of the story would be reviewed. I need a drink. If we lived in a just society, if we lived in a fair and bipartisan legal system, both parties would be reviewed before a major action can take place. But that's not how domestic violence works. Domestic violence only takes an accusation. The police don't even need probable cause to arrest you. Probable cause is determined by whatever they think they can do. Now, legality establishes that they have to have a legitimate probable cause, but domestic violence law allows them a way to circumvent that, to enforce an arrest. And it is on a rare occasion that a man who is arrested for a domestic violence offense with an order of protection will have a legal ground to a lawsuit for that arrest, because domestic violence law kind of allows the police to fuck up and arrest you in their night because. I have a lawsuit against the NYPD for a false domestic violence arrest, and my situation was unique because I was lied on and there was never any probable cause for my arrest. I actually won an order of protection 72 hours before Staten Island put a warrant on me because of the lies of my offender who had just been convicted. That's how corrupt Staten Island is. They were angry that I, as a black man, won this order of protection against this girl who they were backing for media and publicity purposes. So to discredit me, to defame me, to further traumatize me, they completely ignored my order of protection and allowed this woman to file false charges on me. So publicly, she could tell everyone that she was still a victim with a full order of protection. This was completely supported by the corrupt Staten Island District Attorney, Michael McMahon, who knew this woman had been convicted, but manipulated his connections with Safe Horizons in the NYPD. So I would be falsely charged and prosecuted, and then Safe Horizon would boost this woman up as a victim to further the credibility, this conspiracy that was against me. Think about it, people. You got the district attorney, the largest domestic violence agency in the city, and the NYPD telling you this woman's a victim. And even though this man has an order of protection, all of these people are telling you she's a victim. People, of course, I was going to get shitted on. It's natural. But the problem was, people, was when I could establish my innocence. The NYPD, the Richmond County District Attorney's Office, and Safe Horizon all received federal funding for domestic violence victims. That funding mandates that they have to provide protection to the actual victim of a domestic violence offense. It is mandatory. They cannot deny them. They cannot refuse to service them, and they cannot use the excuse that this person might have previously been an offender to deny them current domestic violence services once it's determined who the true domestic violence victim is. But people, again, Staten Island, where I was from, is a horribly corrupt place. And this is what they did, despite the fact that my charges had been dismissed, despite the fact that I had a lifetime complete no contact, 1,000-foot stay away from my ex-girlfriend, which is very serious, people. Why would a judge add an additional 1,000 feet to this woman if I wasn't in danger? People, the judge said on the record that he did not feel that even by adding 1,000 feet to order my ex to stay away from me, that I would be safe from the order. And people, I can tell you, as someone who's dealt with litigation for the last 3 years, this man was righter than a motherfucker. He was 100% right in his diagnosis of my ex-girlfriend, that she was going to continue to pursue me and stalk me. The saddest part about this is how law enforcement refused to hear the words of this judge purposely, because I was a black man that they didn't like. They ignored this judge, who is a superior court judge. That's the same thing in New York. It's the Supreme Court. It's the highest court in the state, other than the appellate court. They ignored that, people. They ignored the Prevention of Domestic Violence Act. They ignored federal domestic violence law, and they pursued me. They created a case on me by claiming I verbally abused my ex for asking her to leave me the fuck alone and telling her I hate her, I don't want to date her anymore. People, I wasn't calling her ugly bitches. I wasn't belittling her, telling her she'll never be anything. People, I actually used to I used to praise this woman. You can do so much. You're so smart. Your mother doesn't have to control your life. You can people. I literally used to boost this woman up all the time because she was being oppressed by her mother as a 30-something-year-old freaking woman. But no, people, none of that was considered. The only thing that came considered was the fact that I told her I didn't fucking want to be with her anymore, that I hate her, that I thought the thing she was doing made her a crazy bitch and that she was stupid. People, all of that was called verbal abuse because I was trying to stay away from a woman who was stalking, harassing me, and lying through her teeth on me to the police. The point of what I'm saying today, people, is that verbal abuse has become a tactic. It no longer means what it should mean. Verbal abuse should mean someone is attacking you unjustly to harm you or emotionally hurt you. If you're doing things to justify that attack, you're not being verbally abused, you're being disresponded to. That's the difference. And see, women will lie through their teeth and claim verbal abuse, the man's negative responses to them, which they institute as verbal abuse. You can't do that. Now, if you got some guy, and because there are men out here, just like there are women out here, they're psychos. They might be mad because their girl don't dress a certain way. They're incredibly controlling and they just happen to call them bitch all the time and they disrespect them. People, that's something totally different. And that's not what I'm talking about. If you're a good woman who doesn't use profanity and you got a guy with a temper that just curses you out all the time, then yeah, you're being verbally abused. If he's belittling you about your appearance or your weight and you've done nothing to him, you're not belittling him about money, you're not talking about his complexion, you're not talking about his weight, you're being a good woman who just said, "Hey babe, how you doing?" And he looks at you and says, "You was a fat nasty bitch." That's verbal abuse. If you're doing your best to doing your job or your life, and because you're not doing something for him, he says, "You know something, you a stupid bitch." That's verbal abuse. But if you're insulting a man, if you're belittling a man, and he responds to you in kind with with negative speech, that's not verbal abuse. That is the consequence of the action that you put forth to that man. And I really think that there needs to be a movement to establish the difference between verbal abuse and the domestic responses that happen between men and women in actual arguments. An actual argument where you're responding to someone who tries to hurt you through negativity or through insults is not verbal abuse. Again, if a woman comes to me and says, "Fuck you, Clay, you black bitch," and I say, "You know something? That's why your vagina stinks, you nasty heifer," I'm not verbally abusing her. I'm responding to her in the same fashion she responded to me. Now, is it gentlemanly? No. Is it mature? No. I could walk away and not say anything. But the fact that I didn't walk away and I responded to her doesn't make me guilty of a crime. It makes me capable of defending myself. It doesn't make me an offender because I happen to curse someone out who is cursing me out. It's me defending myself. But the problem is that racists, bigots, those who are unjust and biased in law enforcement will use a man's negative response to a woman who is negatively engaging him to claim verbal abuse. And people, that's wrong. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of false arrests initiated and inflicted on men and women every day due to this tactic of verbal abuse. What'll happen is a partner, man or woman, will go to the police. They'll edit text message histories and they'll claim verbal abuse. Now the police are so thirsty to arrest. The family court is so thirsty to prosecute that these people will get orders of protection. It takes nothing to get an order of protection, people. They will give a fucking ham sandwich an order of protection against lettuce and tomatoes. I'm guaranteeing you. That's how stupid the family court is. And I can say this, I don't care who listens in the family court. The family court structure, the family court's purpose and initiative is stupid. You give people orders of protection without any justification. How can you possibly regulate a system to be true and just when you put no thought into the process of these orders that can take people's freedom? They don't. They don't care because people, the truth of the matter is the order of protection is a financial tool for the judicial system. You inflict false arrest. Those false arrests, people need lawyers. People, they have to pay bails. People, you're feeding the whole system by falsely arresting people off of baseless allegations. And that's the fact. Um, with regard to verbal abuse, I could tell you that the best thing to do is not respond. But that's not a human answer. A human answer is sometimes someone will say something to you so disrespectful that it will anger you and you will say something to them. My whole point in this broadcast is to tell you is to be confident. Because if someone's insulting you and you tell them to go kiss your ass, if someone's insulting you and you happen to say, you know something, you're saying all this stuff about me, but let's put your shit out there. Let's talk about the fact, I'm going to talk about the pastor who lied on me, Victor Allen Brown. I've known Victor Allen Brown for 25 years, people. This man knew I never abused my mother. I might not have been the best child, but he knew I didn't abuse my mother. He knew I didn't abuse women, people. He knew the things that my ex-girlfriend was saying was a lie. Now let's reverse that to me. I'm the son of a woman who ministered and counseled this man for 10 years. People, I'm the same child that used to be in the church that he used to say, "Hey, Clayton, how you doing?" when he walked into the office for his counseling. Now, should I have been outside the door listening? No, I shouldn't have been. I was a nosy little fucking kid. But guess what, people? I was a kid, and kids do that. My mother used to counsel people. I loved my mother. I looked up to my mother. I used to listen to her counseling to see how she communicated with people. And I happened to hear some of the confessions of Victor Allen Brown when I was a kid. Not only that, my mother and I were incredibly close. She talked to me about everything, people. Should she have talked to me about certain things with people? No, she probably shouldn't. But I'm her son, people. Why would she not tell her son about a man like Victor Brown so her son does not become Victor Brown? You understand what I'm saying? No, Clayton, you don't do this to a woman who's loyal to you. Sandra, my mother's friend, is loyal to Victor. She helped him build that church, and he turned those people against him. My mother told me all about Victor Brown. Now, people, the truth was, out of respect and because I was raised by a good woman, I never said anything for years. People, I never attacked this pastor until he attacked me. I never said anything bad about Pastor Victor Brown until Pastor Victor Brown worked with my crazy ex-girlfriend and her lying mother to try to destroy my life. And he knew he did it, people. There was a warrant for me in 2023 for a false arrest that my ex-girlfriend filed. Now, people, the truth of the matter is I wasn't supposed to be arrested for that warrant the day I was arrested. But Pastor Victor Brown has lieutenant status as a clergy, I forgot how the term goes. He's a clergy induced officer in the NYPD, which means he was only given officer status because he's supposed to be the clergy liaison for the community. This is done by the NYPD to kind of make the transition to them becoming more community friendly feasible. They empower local leaders to work with them. It's an excellent strategy. Shout out to the NYPD. It's a great strategy that they empower the members of the community like black clergy who are supposed to be trustworthy to be their liaison in the community, because it makes more sense for a black pastor who works in the community to deal with the people if there's an issue, considering the people don't trust the police. I totally get it. But see, this piece of shit tries to use his clergy position to be a real cop. You'll see pictures of this guy in police raids and things like this. Homie, you're supposed to be a minister. You're supposed to be out there convincing people that the police don't hurt them and to work with the programs in the community so that it's a harmonious community. You're not supposed to be trying to hold pews like you're a detective or you actually have an investigative track history, because the truth is you don't. You're a pretender, like the same thing you do when you go into your pulpit every Sunday and you pretend to be a minister like you that. That's what you are. So people, I would have never said anything if this guy didn't use a position that God bestowed on him to do right to wrong me. And that's exactly what he did. He used his power within the NYPD to bolster my claims, the claims of Faracina Evans, so I would be stalked and arrested by police. He used his position to lie on me to different agencies and claim that I was this bad seed who beat my ex-girlfriend and physically assaulted or mentally assaulted my mother. And if he didn't say it directly, excuse me, what he did was allow my ex-girlfriend to get before his church and lie through her teeth. So the overall appearance of her being before the church would boost her credibility, therefore not making him look like a liar and make me look like a liar. People, how does a man of God do this? A man of God doesn't do this. A scumbag does this. So people, this is why I verbally speak out against him. Some might say it's abusive, but it's not abusive. It's just the truth. It's me exercising the First Amendment. And in order to violate and lose the protections of the First Amendment, people, it has to be two-part. There's a two-part test to determine whether or not someone has lost the protections of the First Amendment. The first part of the test is a determination made by the court that is the speech violent. Is it violent? Does it harm the person? Meaning, I'm trying to say this right so my audience understands. Is the speech violent or is it going to harm someone? Not harm them to the extent. Well, it could be physical harm. It could be something to that extent, but it has to. Oh no, that's what I'm trying to say. Does the speech impose criminality? Meaning, does the speech cause a crime? If the speech causes a crime against the person, you're going to jail. The next thing does it imply an imminent threat of criminality? Meaning, is what you're saying gonna force someone else to go hurt this person? Like if I say, hey, everyone get out right now and go kill this person, and people are actually gonna go kill him, I lose the protection of the First Amendment. I'm going to jail. If that makes any sense to people. So you have to have a two-part prong in order for it to actually be determined that something you can say, free speech, is not protected by free speech. But if what you're saying is the truth, it is totally protected by free speech. No one can attack you regardless of how you say something if what you say is the truth, as long as it doesn't impose a crime on someone or it doesn't put a threat of an imminent crime being put on someone. Okay, I said that a lot better. Um, and that's the thing that I think that people don't understand. You know, criminality is key. If there's no criminality in what you're saying, then people, nothing you're saying is wrong, and you are fully protected by the protections of the Constitution and the First Amendment. People don't like when you speak out against them, especially utilizing First Amendment, because they really can't stop you. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to foster cases on you. They're going to try to destroy you other ways, because the truth is they need to silence your voice. People, I'm pretty sure there's a great initiative on Staten Island to try to figure out how the fuck to arrest Clayton Howard, but you can't arrest Clayton Howard because Clayton Howard is involved in no criminality. Clayton Howard is completely fucking legitimate. So guess what? As hard as they might be looking, trying to find something, people, they can't find anything, people. They can't arrest me for debt. I'll be honest, I'm in debt, but I'm in debt because I've been stalked by women and lost my job 3 times in the last year for false reports and malicious prosecution. But that'll all be taken care of soon, people. But we don't live in London or England where there's a debtor society. That don't work like that in the United States or New York. I've granted the time to pay my debt, so you can't do that. So people, if I'm not committing any crime and I'm not doing anything, they can't put me in jail. So this is why I am still here speaking against the DA, speaking against Victor Allen Brown, speaking against corruption, speaking against manipulation, and speaking up for the rights of victims. Because nothing I'm saying is wrong, and it's all protected by the First Amendment because, one, it doesn't incite criminality or the threat of imminent criminality, and two, it's all the truth. Like I have been advocating, people, the truth has a buoyancy that no matter how hard people try to destroy you, try to discredit you, it's never going to work. Because eventually, the things you're saying is going to come to light. If you're telling the truth about a person who may have wronged someone, you think you're the only person they wronged? You're not. Someone else is going to find out that this person wronged you, or all you have to do is be patient, because a person who wronged you is going to wrong someone else, and your point will be proven if you're patient and you believe. You have to, and you have to stay truthful. That's important, people. Don't allow yourself to get so overburdened by false litigation, false allegations, vexatious litigation, the malicious actions of people to compromise your truth and allow you to start lying on them. Because see, people, all it takes is for them to find out you lie one time when people are against you to destroy everything that might be the truth. This is why I live my life in such a high standard of truth. I'd rather tell the truth about everything, people. You're not going to be able to come around and call Clayton no fucking lie about nothing. You can say I'm disrespectful. You can say you don't like my mouth and the way I approach people, but you can't say that I'm criminally harming anyone, and you can't say anything that I'm saying is a lie. And as long as you can't say those two things, you can't do a fucking thing to me. So I'm going to keep speaking my truth. If you violated me in any way, I'm going to sue you civilly. There was a time I would have punched you in your face. This is not a direct threat to Victor Allen Brown, but Victor Brown knows me. There's a time I would have punched him dead in his fucking face for what the hell he did. And I would have dealt with the consequences of the arrest after. Okay, I know you a bitch. You gonna call a cop, but I broke your fucking jaw. So guess what? We good. People, I can't do that. I can't put my hands on a black pastor for 2 reasons. One, people, you can't hit him. You can't hit someone with the appearance of being a minister. It's socially incorrect, people, and it's going to make you look like a piece of shit, even if this guy deserved it, which this pastor definitely deserves to get punched in his face. But he should not be punched in his face because he still does have a position. What I have decided to do is punch him in the face with the truth. Since he wanted to put a lie on me, I put the truth out there on him, and I speak my truth. I speak the truth of the son of the woman who ministered to him and who knows his secrets. And see, Victor knew this. That's why Victor Allen Brown tried to help my ex Francina Evans attack my credibility, just in case I ever became the person I came and could directly challenge him and his alleged Christianity and good character. Let me say this for a fact, people. Victor Allen Brown is not a man of good character. He is a deplorable man of nefarious character and horrible credibility with a history of unprofessional conduct towards women. And I'm not the only person who knows this. There's people who know I'm telling the truth. And Victor knows I'm telling the truth, people. That's why he hates me so much. I don't choose to attack anyone. I don't verbally abuse people. I'm probably one of the nicest people you meet in the world, as long as you don't piss me off. The second you piss me off, the second you try to offend me, the second you try to move against me in something that's going to harm me, you're going to create a person that you're not going to like. Um, you probably would have liked the Clayton a few more years ago because Black Clayton was more emotionally responsive. You would have gotten anger out of me. You could have probably lined me up on an order of protection or a police report because I would have told you to kiss my ass and I would have got real negative with you. I don't do that no more, people. Now I just file paperwork on it. That's it. I don't have no time to argue with you. I don't have no time to let you interfere with my life, my goals, my agenda. My agenda is in my daughter, my future, and advocacy. I have no time for anything that is not in any of those in any of those three categories. Excuse me. There. If you're not about my daughter, my finances, or the future of advocacy, I don't want to talk to you. And that's, I think, the problem that people have. They expect you to contribute to bullshit. And when you don't contribute to bullshit, when you speak the truth, when you speak against people, and when you tell your truth in your way, you're considered abusive. Anyone who thinks I'm abusive, people, like I said, I'm more than with litigation. I know what the fuck to do. You can sue me for defamation and we'll deal with it in court. If you think I'm lying on you about something, and this is for Victor Allen Brown, this is definitely for you, Victor, sue me. Sue me for lying on you. And I'm just going to bring my mother's family and every person I know there so they can speak about her, you, and the things that she told them. Because trust me, my mother didn't only talk to Clayton about you, people. The whole freaking family knows about you, Victor. My uncle knows about you. My mother's mother knows about you. I'm pretty sure if my sister decided to support her mother, she would even tell the truth, which is that my mother never respected you and knew you were a piece of shit, Victor. She knew what you did to her friends. She told her children all about you. One of her best friends were like an aunt to us. You don't really think that two children who were so close to this man's ex-wife, who considered her like an aunt, would have ever asked their mother what happened to their auntie? Of course we asked our mother what happened. And unfortunately, Pastor Brown, my mother was a truthful minister, unlike you. She told her children the truth, which is that you are not an honorable man who violated the sacrilege of marriage. And she told us, Victor. So you can't be mad that now 20 years later you attacked her son with false allegations given to you by his ex-girlfriend you were sexually attracted to, and you created an enemy in me who speaks out against you. Victor Allen Brown, I was never your enemy, dude. I didn't care about you, dude. I never spoke against you. I never said a word about you until you attacked me and my mother. That's what made you my enemy. So, people, so you understand what verbal abuse is. I've kind of broken it down. And verbal abuse is when you do the things you do. Let's go back over it because I kept some notes. It's when you are insulting and name calling, blaming, shaming, criticizing, meant to humiliate, threats of intimidation, gaslighting, yelling or screaming, sarcasm, meant to belittle, controlling conversations, and invalidating feelings. These are all characteristics of verbal abuse. But you're not abusing someone if you're responding to the abuse that they inflicted on you. That's not verbal abuse. That's standing up for yourself. And that's what we do at Operation Rock. That's what we encourage anyone who listens to us to do, to stand up for yourself. Don't allow people to insult you because you're worried what they're going to do if you insult them. Fuck them. If someone's insulting you, you got the right to tell them to get the fuck out your face and leave you alone. And if anyone disagrees with that, people, you deal with it accordingly, not physically, but doing the right thing. You document them, you record them. If you got a phone in your pocket, don't say, I'm going to record you, man, on obvious. Nah, don't do that, people. I don't even have my Ray-Bans because I had to spend a couple $100, people. I bought some Ray-Bans that every time I put them on now, all I got to do is say metal record. And metal records everything. I don't even have to do it no more because I've learned the value of documenting what people say. You have to do that, people. If you don't, people will change their stories and lie through their fucking teeth. That is the truth, people. Nobody needs that. No one needs to be verbally disrespected or verbally attacked or verbally defamed by someone else for things they didn't do and then be attacked for defending themselves. That's what happened to me. I was verbally defamed, verbally abused by my ex-girlfriend in the Staten Island District Attorney's Office, Safe Horizon, and Pastor Victor Brown. And when I was able to get myself into a position where I proved the truth, people, and I spoke against them, suddenly now I'm verbally abusing them. What happened when they were verbally abusing me? People lying on someone, calling them names, intimidating them, all of that's verbal abuse. People, this is what they were doing to me. But it was okay when they were doing it to me because they thought I couldn't get my way out of it. The second I destroyed this lying chick's case, all of a sudden now I'm verbally abusive. People, what happened when they were lying on me, defaming my dead mother? Why is that not significant? People, it is significant. The only reason it's not significant is because I'm a black man that the true leader of the situation, which is the racist Staten Island District Attorney Mike McMahon, doesn't respect. Mike McMahon don't respect black men. Pastor Victor Brown, who's up underneath this white man's ass all the time, think Mike McMahon respects him. No, stupid, you his house nigga. Just like fucking Samuel L. Jackson was Leonardo DiCaprio's house nigga in Django. Victor Brown, you are Mike McMahon's house nigga. That's what you are. Boss! That's you, nigga. You have no character. You have no type of self-respect. If you actually did, you would grow a fucking pair of balls and you would stand in that position that you were actually given the position for, which is to be a force in the community for your community, not to use a position that you levied the people of your church for. Because that's all pastors do, people, not to jump. A pastor will build a church because the people who support that pastor give him power. People behind you give you power in life and money. If you have a following, that's what I'm looking for. Or money, people, you got position. You have something you could leverage with someone who might need access to those people who follow you, like the DA, like the Congress people who need votes, so you can get favors out of them. And people, that's all Pastor Allen does. Pastor Allen pretends to be this pastor so he can use the people in his church to leverage the DA and other politicians so he seems more important than he actually is. When the truth is, he's a rundown, low level, fake, broke ass TD Jakes with aspirations of being something greater that he will never accomplish because he lacks the integrity and strength of character to be a man of such stature. I don't want to say these things about this man. Again, people, up until recently, you would have never heard me say a bad word about this man. I never did. I treated him with total respect, even though I knew he was a piece of shit. People, I don't do that anymore. I speak my truth. And if anyone has a problem with what I'm saying, people, I'm not hard to find. I accept all litigation. People, I'm not afraid of litigation anymore. You file paperwork on me for a lawsuit, a defamation, a slander. I know how to defend myself. People, let's go. You should know, though, I'm going to countersue you for malicious prosecution, which I'm very, very fucking knowledgeable of. So if you want to come after me for slander, you better make sure you got a home run. Because if you don't got a home run, I'm going to take your house. I'm going to garnish your check. I'm going to get something out of you. And I'm not saying this as a threat. I'm saying this to anyone who thinks they're going to intimidate Clayton Howard with a court case. Fuck that. I'm not scared of court, people. I've been to court. I've been through the wire and I've made it through the flame. So you can file a false case on me. You can do whatever you want. You go right ahead. And I'm going to put a very good suit on and I'm going to walk into court and I'm going to destroy your fucking lawyer because you're a liar. Just like I've been doing to everyone else. People, I'm not perfect. I don't win every case. I lost a case the other day. I got a motion denied. People, when I get a motion denied, it's so depressing. It really hurts me because I work so hard on these shits. I'm like, damn, this damn judge. But people, I don't get mad no more. You know what I do? I appeal it. I file Article 78s. I file order to show cause. I appeal everything. People, the worst thing my enemies could have did was fucking force me to open a book and utilize the brain that my mother gave me. People, I am the child of a highly intelligent woman who is very great. Fucking with me was like fucking with her. So on behalf of Justice and Operation Rock, people, we are exactly at 47.54 minutes. So that means I went 3 minutes over than what I was supposed to. I hope this broadcast was informative. I hope it empowers someone to do like I did and open a book. People, join the community because it's not a fight of one man. It's a fight for us all. What happened to me can happen to anyone. You don't have to be you don't have to be a black man. You don't have to be Chinese. You don't have to be Spanish. You don't have to be a man. You can be lied on and falsely accused by anyone simply because they want to destroy your life. That's what I fight against, people. Yes, sometimes I may jump from here to here because I have my own issues, but my issues have given me the basis to come here and be so knowledgeable and give people information. If my ex-girlfriend hadn't been so hurt and bitter that she started lying on me, then I would have never been falsely arrested and charged by the Staten Island DA's office. I would have never had my civil rights violated to the point where because law enforcement began to ignore my rights. Therefore, I would have never picked up a book and I would have never transformed into the person that sits before you today. So I'm thankful, and I mean that from the bottom of from the depth of my existence. I am thankful for the people who did the things they did to me. Because you created a fucking nightmare in the man that you have created that fights you and speaks against you every day. Mike McMahon, I'm not going nowhere, dude. You lied on me. You fucking defamed me. You attacked my dead mother. You and that scumbag Victor Brown and people, y'all owe me a pound of flesh. Now, I don't want any physical problem with you, so don't worry. You're not going to have to send a detective on me and say I'm physically threatening you, you piece of shit. What I want is to expose you for the corrupt, manipulative, disgusting human being, and unworthy official that you are. You should have never been elected as the Staten Island DA. You are a fucking closet racist, and you have been so for over 2 terms. The only reason you're elected is because Staten Island is composed of Uncle Tom, not Uncle Tom, excuse me, Uncle Tom was a hero, of Sambo as sellout racist. I mean, not racist, of Sambo sellouts like Victor Brown, like Camilla Hanks, like Charles Fall. These people only care about themselves and their political aspirations. So they use the community. They use true people that were in the community, like my late mother, who they pretended to love so much just so they can get the influence behind her to be elected. These people loved Reverend Howard so much that they allowed her son to be framed for fucking domestic violence and rape and lied through her teeth on him. And then when her son fought his ass off to prove his innocence, not one of these people had the integrity to step up and say, you know something, I know Clayton. Let me call Clayton, man, because he's going to be pissed, but I'm wrong. See, that's the thing, people. I have a right to be mad if I was betrayed by people I know. Why do these people who claim to be so much ethically more competent than me, people so professional, so much better than me, why do they lack the integrity to offer me an apology when they lied on me? I'll tell you why, people, because they ain't fucking real. They never been fucking real. And I'm here to flush the system. I'm gonna flush all you fake bastards right out the fucking drain. That's my promise to my dead mother, that I am going to flush every corrupt, every unjust, every fake ass pastor that's in her community out of there. And I'm working my ass off every day to get to the level where I can finally come and take care of business. So, people, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep making these broadcasts. I'm going to keep trying to educate people to the truth of the situation. I'm going to keep trying to empower them so they don't feel overburdened or afraid to fight the system that betrays them, because the system does betray you. I'm a man who can sit here and tell you that the system betrays you because I was betrayed. I was betrayed by the Staten Island DA's office, who had charged me for a crime it knew I didn't do. I was betrayed by the Essex County District Attorney's Office that allowed my ex-girlfriend to falsify evidence using my estranged father's medical records to get herself acquitted from a crime that she definitely committed, people. See, people, that's the thing. My ex tells people she was acquitted, but she doesn't tell you why. Her and an attorney falsified information against me, and I sued the prosecutor's office. So because I sued the prosecutor's office, they refused to charge her with falsifying the medical records of my father. The one thing that, and people, again, if they charge her with falsifying those medical records, it exposes them to civil liability, because now they have to admit that she was doing all of the things that I said she was doing. So what's the easiest way to deny accountability, people? They refuse to charge her criminally. And this is why I advocate that people learn how to exercise the civil courts, because the criminal courts are not going to give you justice as a victim if they don't want to. That's the key here, people. Law enforcement has to want you to grant you justice. It doesn't matter if you have a legitimate cause for justice like I did. People, someone can actually wrong you. Law enforcement will know and refuse to charge that person. This is why you hear people who are falsely arrested talking about the police won't charge my offender. It's not that the police don't have probable cause or a valid reason to charge. They do. They just don't want to. So they'll bullshit you. They'll defer the process. They won't process your reports, because the truth is that's an arrest they're going to have to reverse, therefore lowering their statistics. People, it's all a racket. But we're going on an hour, so I kind of got to go, as much as I would love to keep talking. People, continue to watch us. Today is Saturday. I probably will do one more broadcast because I'm trying to be more frequent. My semester is ending. I got a horrible, oh God, I got another situation, world, that I'm probably going to be talking about within the next 2 months. And it will further foster my advocacy against those who lie to law enforcement in an attempt to manipulate the process to receive revenge. Because I'm involved in another situation where a woman has just done just that. However, the guy is incredibly guilty. He did domestically abuse her. He just didn't do a lot of the things that she's claiming he did to him. And because he did so much stuff to hurt her, I want to say emotionally, she has tried to destroy this guy's life by basically accusing him of shit that she was 100% complicit of in criminality. And I have proof that this happened. So I had to do a lot of soul searching before I actually came to the conclusion that I need to tell the truth on this woman, because she's fucking lying. And it shouldn't be about lying, people. If a man wrongs you, legitimately wrongs you, you have a valid claim to your rights as a victim. You have a valid claim to receive justice, and you should receive justice. If a man beats you, oppresses you, manipulates you to the point where you're doing things because you thought one thing and it's something else. Actually, I disagree with that. Let me say something. I don't think a man should go to jail for manipulating a woman and telling her the things she wants to hear, because women do it to men all the time, and women don't go to jail. A man shouldn't go to jail because he makes a woman believe he's going to marry her and she does a bunch of things like, she might have threesomes with him and all types of shit. Those are choices she made. She made because she thought she was going to be with this guy, just like a woman. A woman shouldn't go to jail because she fucks a guy and the guy thinks they're in a relationship, but she's dating other people behind his back. That doesn't come with it. If you buy her something, it's a gift. So you don't have the right to try to oppose her because she doesn't want to be with you, if that makes any sense. But this is a conversation for another day and a conversation we will have. So on behalf of Justice People, on behalf of Operation Rock, and on behalf of knowledge and the definition of what true verbal abuse is. Remember, verbal abuse is not you legitimately responding to someone insulting you, defaming you, or threatening you. That's called your right to respond, and that's protected by the First Amendment. Verbal abuse is when you're doing things that are when you say things due to unprovoked action from the other person which hurt them. That's key. It has to be unprovoked, people. You can't provoke someone to respond to you negatively and then accuse them of verbal abuse. That's bullshit. And I think that's where people are confusing people. If you leaving someone alone and you've never done anything to them, that's key. If you've never done anything to this person and they're speaking things about you that may not be true or wrong, then they're verbal abusing you. But if you've done something to hurt them and they call you out and they publicly expose you, they're not verbally abusive, people. They're taking their ground because let's just be honest, people, you're a piece of shit and you need to be exposed. So again, people, happy Saturday. On behalf of Operation Rock, I am Clayton here, and I hope this was informative to someone. Kind of was a freestyle. I didn't give you guys too much actual documented learning, but the next broadcast we're going to do is going to be good because we're going to talk about how you can hold a judge accountable who violates your procedural due process. That's something I talked about the other day when I was talking about how I got my child back, and a bunch of people on TikTok and Instagram hit me up like, yo, bro, I need more information about that. So what I'm going to do, I'll probably do it tomorrow. What I'll do tomorrow is I'll create a presentation on how the steps you can take to file paperwork to hold the judge accountable who may have violated your rights in court. So that's our next broadcast. That'll be tomorrow, a little bit under an hour. That's good. On behalf of Operation Rock, this is Clayton. Enjoy your day. God is love. Freedom is love. Peace is love, people. Don't allow the bullshit to weigh you down. Just become a better person. Thank you for listening.